Hey there. Welcome back to another 5-minute book review. I'm John Hartness. I'm a fantasy writer, editor, publisher, Dungeons and Dragons player. You can see in the background, Magic the Gathering player, and avid reader. And this series of 5-minute book reviews is intended to keep me honest about reading. Because what too many of us in the field as writers, editors, publishers, we don't we sometimes lose track of the fact that it's really important to read. And it's important to read in our genre. So I am pushing to read at least one book a week in 2020. If you've been following these, you'll notice that I've missed a couple of weeks off the 5-minute book reviews. That's because the last couple of weeks have been pretty rough around here. The week of Valentine's Day was my parents' birthday, and it was the first time I've not had both of them. My dad died last year. My mom died 4.5 years ago. So this was kind of a bummer it was a real bummer of a week, and I didn't feel like recording anything. I read quite a bit, but sometimes life just gets in the way, and that's what my writing life video is going to be about, that I'll record here in a few minutes. But for now, I want to talk about it's actually a trilogy of books, so I'm not behind on my 52 weeks, 52 books, because I read the whole trilogy. I read all 3 of them. But the first one is called Truly Devious, and I don't remember who it's by, man. Hang on, let me do the Kindle thing. So they redid the home screen on my Kindle, and I hate it. I can't find anything, and it drives me crazy. Also, I'm old. Maureen Johnson. The Truly Devious trilogy by Maureen Johnson. The first one is called Truly Devious. The second one is called The Vanishing Stair. And the third is called The Hand on the Wall. Now, these are... It's a whodunit in 3 parts. So you want to know going in that this is a trilogy. Otherwise, it's going to get to be about 1 o'clock in the morning. You're going to finish up book 1, and you're going to want to throw your Kindle across the room because they didn't solve the damn mystery. I didn't throw my Kindle across the room because I was in bed, and my wife and cat would have both been upset with me if I'd thrown my electronics across the room and made loud noises while they were sleeping. But yeah, I was pissed, because the book's really good. I really liked the story. I really liked the characters. It is set at a very exclusive academy for intellectual and kind of free-thinking children. And look, you put weird kids in a school for gifted, and it pushes all my X-Men buttons, and I'm in. I'm already there for it. So I loved the fact that you had this quirky, weird, poor kid who was now around all these weird, rich kids and not fitting in because she's poor, and all of these things that are big check marks for me. The characters are all well drawn. The cast of the characters is very diverse. There's some LGBTQ themes, so it's a good representation of what the world is like today for teenagers, because, believe it or not, occasionally I do associate with teenagers. Okay, like one, but still. Anyway, so I don't think it's a YA book. I think it's a whodunit that happens to feature young characters. Young people can read it. There's nothing topical that I would not want a young person to read. It's not written at a level that they wouldn't understand. You're also talking to the guy who was reading Stephen King in elementary school, so my view might be a little skewed. But no, it's a really good mystery, and it bounces back and forth in time from present day at the school where some weird shit's going on to the 1930s where there was a very famous kidnapping and murder that took place at the school. And as we go through the three books, we see the evolution of the investigation and how these things are running in parallel and how things that happened 80, 90 years ago are affecting things today. And there's a lot of different loose threads. There's some things that aren't ever tied up, which is good. And I just thought that the book was really well done. Now, like many trilogies, the second book dips a little. You know, the old saying is you have your whole lifetime to write your first book, and then you got 6 months to write the second. I don't know Maureen Johnson. I don't know anything about their work other than this trilogy, so I don't know if she's published 200 books or if this was her first novel. But there was a little dip. I think this could have been 2 long books as opposed to 3 short books. It worked. It was fairly well paced, but yeah, it lagged a little midway through the second book. Nothing. I never felt like I didn't want to finish. I always wanted to know what was going on. I was always very invested in the characters, and everything was handled very well. And the whodunit was very deep and very intricately laid out from the jump. So obviously, this was intended to be multiple books, and it was a very intricately woven plot. If you've seen Knives Out, I'd say this was 85 to 90% as good a whodunit as Knives Out. And Knives Out, to me, is kind of the pinnacle of contemporary whodunits. I haven't seen one on screen that good. God, I don't know when the last time I've seen one on screen that good. What would be? So to get to 85 or 90% of Knives Out, I think is a pretty high bar. So yeah, if you like complicated mysteries, I think you'll dig this. I don't think you'll know. I don't think you'll know where everything's going until the end. I didn't. I didn't work too hard at it because I don't want to. I usually don't want to know. I want to try to let myself be surprised. So yeah, check it out. Yeah, I know I ran long again, but I'm doing 3 books. I should get 15 minutes, right? I know I don't. But there's lots of breadcrumbs. The clock on the mantle in Act 1 definitely gets used in Act 3 to mangle Chekhov. Not Chekhov from Star Trek, you asshole. Yeah, it's really good. I enjoyed it. I I didn't love it as much as I loved Strangelove, but definitely I liked it enough that I paid full retail New York publisher prices for the audiobooks, for the ebooks, I mean. I probably got the first one on sale. But I bought the second one for $10 and I paid 12 for the ebook for the third because I wanted to know how it ended that much. And that's a lot for me to spring for an ebook for $12. You get over $10 and you're making me twitchy a little for a digital only product. So there you go. Truly Devious, The Missing Stare, Vanishing Stare, and The Hand on the Wall by Maureen Johnson. Check it out. And spoiler alert, the next thing I review, also gonna be about a young person at a special school. I'm telling you, I really liked the old New Mutants books, and so you're gonna get a lot of that. I read a ton of that kind of book. So I'll be right back, because I'm doing a couple of these tonight. You guys, well, be good to one another, okay?